The BBC has a reporter, Marianna Spring, whose job it is to watch over social media and questions of disinformation. I asked her how the war was being portrayed on social media.
There was one guy I interviewed, he's in his 20s, he's a TikTok star, he's got millions of followers, and he posted on Instagram and TikTok about his house, his apartment block, which had been bombed. He was greeted by hundreds of comments from pro-Russia trolls telling him, "You're lying, it's not true, this didn't happen." And that kind of disinformation effort and trolling we've seen happening across the social media sites, and it's one that the social media sites have been playing catch up with. A lot of the major platforms have done quite well at getting on top of this disinformation. But when it comes to sites like TikTok and then also Telegram, which is a messaging app similar to a mixture between Facebook and WhatsApp, when it comes to those, we've noticed that they've been slower at taking down and tackling this kind of content. And so you've seen, particularly on TikTok, how pro-Russia accounts that promote falsehoods about how the war is staged or even that crisis actors might be involved have gone particularly viral. But when I've got in touch with them about it, they've told us that they are investing more in tackling disinformation on their sites.
It's interesting what you say, because I remember 30 years ago the siege of Sarajevo. And we would go out, there'd be a bomb would land or a mortar or something would hit perhaps an old folks' home. I remember particularly that. And, you know, we filmed the bodies being taken out, and there was an immediate deluge of people saying, these are just mannequins out of shop windows, these are actors. This all seems to be happening again 30 years later.
It definitely is happening, and around Mariupol in particular, we've seen several of these tactics deployed in order to suggest that some of the most shocking events, particularly the bombing of the maternity hospital and also the bombing of the theatre, didn't happen as evidence would suggest, and that they are somehow staged. And you can't think of something that's more distressing, particularly for the individuals who have been hurt and who are victims of this violence, to be told that, no, you're part of a plot, this isn't happening, you are actually, you're being paid. Another theme that's come up quite a lot is that actually nowadays there are quite a lot of people whose job it is, including in Ukraine or in Russia, to be influencers, beauty influencers. And we saw around the bombing of the maternity hospital that there was one woman who is a beauty influencer who's also called Marianna